I was shot. People said I would not survive, but I lived. Why did that happen? Today I want to tell you that story. This is the story of one man who nearly died, but perhaps it is also the story of every one of us who is still trying to live. May 13, 1981, I was in St. Peter's Square when a man raised a gun and fired. The bullet tore through my abdomen, and I fell. The screams of the crowd, the frantic movements of my guards, and my consciousness slowly fading. In that moment, I called out one name, Mary. I did not choose to say it. It simply came, the way a child who has lost his mother cries out for her without thinking. When I arrived at the hospital, the doctors shook their heads. The bullet had passed within millimeters of my aorta, a fraction of an inch more, and I would have died right there in that square. The surgery lasted over 5 hours, and then, against all expectation, I survived. One of the doctors said quietly, "There is no medical explanation for this." In that moment, I understood something. One hand had fired the gun, but another hand had redirected the bullet. If you stay with this story until the end, the way you see your own suffering may never be the same. Why that day? Why did the bullet miss my heart? Why did I survive? And why did I later walk into a prison to take the hand of the man who tried to kill me? By the time this story is finished, you will understand 3 things. First, that suffering always has a meaning, even when we cannot see it. Second, that forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is what saves us. Third, how a single bullet changed the course of world history. That is the story I want to tell you today. My name is Karol Wojtyla. The world knows me as Pope John Paul II, but today I am not speaking to you as a pope. I am speaking as a man who came back from the edge of death. I was born in Poland. I lost my mother when I was 9. I lost my brother when I was 12. I lost my father when I was 20, and I survived a war that tried to erase everything I believed in. How did a boy like that become pope? And why did that pope have to be shot? Everything leads to one answer: Fatima, a small field in Portugal where Our Lady appeared to 3 children in 1917. What she promised there was unfolding inside my life, and now I want to tell you how. My hometown was Wadowice, Poland, a small, quiet town, mountains nearby, a river running through it. We were poor, but our home was never silent because my mother was always praying. She prayed before she cooked. She prayed before she slept. I grew up watching her. I learned before I could explain it. Prayer comes before everything else. The year I turned 9, my mother became ill. Her heart was weak. She grew thinner every week. Every day after school, I ran straight to her room. I held her hand. One day she said to me, "Karol, one day you will do God's work." I did not understand what she meant. I just nodded. And then one spring morning, she closed her eyes. For a 9-year-old boy, it felt like the world had ended. That night, my father took me to the church. We knelt before the statue of Our Lady. He looked at me and said, "Karol, Mary is your mother now." I never forgot those words. The boy who lost his mother found another one that night. When I was 12, my brother Edmund died. He was a doctor. He caught scarlet fever from a patient he was treating, and he was gone. Now it was just my father and me. The house became very quiet. That silence frightened me. More than grief, I kept praying. Not because I had answers, because I had nothing else. When I was 20, my father died. I stayed by his body through the night. No one else was there. I ran to the church. I lay face down on the cold stone floor. I don't know how long I stayed like that. I asked God, "What am I supposed to do now?" There was no answer. But strangely, there was peace. That peace was the answer. And then the war came. 1939. Nazi Germany invaded Poland. Overnight, everything changed. Schools were closed. Professors were taken away. Friends disappeared. Gunfire echoed in the streets. To survive, I worked in a quarry. I cut stone. I carried stone. My hands became rough, my shoulders became hard, but even there, I never put down my rosary. I prayed while I worked. I prayed on my breaks. I understood something in that darkness. When the darkness is deepest, that is when the light is most needed. And I wanted to be someone who carried that light. If you are listening to this, and something in this story does not feel unfamiliar, maybe you have lost someone you loved. Maybe you have spent a night when there was nothing left to do. Maybe you have asked God, why is this happening to me? I was there too. At 9, at 12, at 20. Each time I thought I would break, but I did not break. Because there was someone my father introduced me to on that dark night in the church. She never left me alone, not once. On the night my father died, lying on the floor of that church, I made a decision. I would become a priest. I would stay close to God. But it was wartime. In Nazi-occupied Poland, seminaries were closed. Training for the priesthood was forbidden. And yet there was a seminary, underground, hidden. If you were discovered, you were taken away. I entered anyway. During the day, I worked in the factory. At night, I studied theology in secret. I memorized Latin by candlelight. That time shaped me more than anything. What you learn in the dark stays with you forever. In 1946, the war ended. I was ordained a priest. I was 26 years old. On the morning of my first Mass, my hands were trembling. I was crying. And I heard my mother's voice, the voice from years ago. Carol, one day you will do God's work. She had seen it before I could. But Poland was not free. The Nazis were gone. Now it was communism. The Soviet Union took control. Churches were watched. Priests were followed. Religious education was banned. The state wanted to erase God. But I did not stop. I gathered young people. We went hiking. We went camping. And in those fields and forests, I taught the faith, hidden from the eyes of the authorities. Were you afraid? Yes, but something was stronger than fear. The certainty that this was what I was meant to do. The years passed. I became a bishop, then Archbishop of Krakow. The communist government saw me as a thorn in their side, but they could not stop me. I kept saying the same thing. Human beings have dignity, God-given freedom, and no government can take that away. People came. Young people, workers, intellectuals. The churches were full. The more they tried to erase God, the more people came looking for him. October 1978, a message came from Rome. I was summoned to elect a new pope. The conclave. I was simply one cardinal among many. The voting began. One day passed. Then two. With each round of voting, something strange was happening. The votes were coming to me. I could not believe it. The cardinal sitting beside me, a German, Joseph Ratzinger, quietly took my hand. He said one thing, accept it. I closed my eyes. I sat very still for a long time, and then I nodded. October 16, 1978, white smoke rose above the Sistine Chapel. The crowd in St. Peter's Square erupted. The name was announced. Karol Wojtyla, from Poland, the first non-Italian pope in 455 years. The crowd went quiet. A man from a communist country. I stepped out onto the balcony. Hundreds of thousands of faces looked up at me. I leaned toward the microphone, and the first words I said were, "Be not afraid." People laughed a little. This Polish priest speaking Italian, but I meant every word. Be not afraid. That was the first thing I said as Pope, and it would be the only thing I kept saying for the rest of my life. That night I asked myself, why me? A boy from a small city in Poland, a boy who lost his mother at 9, a young man who cut stone in a wartime quarry, a student who read the Bible by candlelight in an underground seminary. Why is he here? There was only one answer. This was not my doing. God wanted this. There was a reason. There had to be a reason. I would find out what it was. 3 years later, May 13, 1981, with the sound of a gunshot. 3 years had passed since I became Pope. Every day I met people, the sick, children, the elderly. That was my favorite part of the work. Wednesday, May 13, 1981, It was afternoon. The sky over Rome was clear and warm. Tens of thousands of people filled St. Peter's Square. I climbed into the white vehicle. We began moving slowly through the crowd. People were waving. I was waving back. Then a little girl ran toward me. She was wearing a red dress. She was holding flowers. I stopped the vehicle. I leaned down. I lifted her into my arms. She laughed. I laughed. And then, bang. At first I did not understand what had happened. There was only heat, a burning heat in my abdomen, and then my strength was gone. I could not hold the child. Someone took her from my arms. I fell. I was looking up at the sky. It was blue, beautifully blue. I could hear the crowd, screaming, running. Someone was calling my name. I could not answer. I could feel the warmth of blood spreading through my clothes. And then something strange happened. I was not afraid. I should have been afraid, but I was not. There was only one name. I did not choose to say it. It simply came. Mary, like the 9-year-old boy who had lost his mother, reaching for her in the dark. Mary. The ambulance was moving fast. I could hear the siren. I could hear the doctors' voices. I closed my eyes. There was nothing I could do. I just kept saying that name. Mary. Mary. The operating room. The surgeons worked in silence. The bullet had torn through my abdomen. My intestines were damaged in several places. The bleeding would not stop. 1 hour passed. 2 hours. 3 hours. The faces of the surgeons grew tight. 5 hours. And then the surgery was over. The lead surgeon looked up. He said nothing for a moment. Then he spoke. He's alive. Later, the doctors told me what they found when they analyzed the bullet's path. They could not believe it. The bullet had passed directly beside the aorta. A few millimeters. That was the difference between my life and my death. One doctor said carefully, "There is no medical explanation for this." I heard those words, and I thought, no, there is no medical explanation because medicine did not do this. When I regained consciousness, the first thing I asked was, "What is today's date?" May 13th, they told me. I closed my eyes. May 13th, the feast of Our Lady of Fatima, the very day in 1917 when Mary first appeared to the 3 children in that field. This was not a coincidence. This could not be a coincidence. I lay in that hospital bed for a long time, staring at the ceiling. I was alive. My heart was beating. I was breathing. Every breath was a miracle. Every single breath. I knew then, with absolute certainty, that my survival was not an accident. There was a reason I was still here, and I had to find out what it was. One afternoon during my recovery, I called for my secretary. I asked him to bring me something. A letter, an old envelope, sealed in 1944. It had not been made public in 37 years. I held it in my hands. Before I opened it, I closed my eyes for a moment. Let me tell you about Fatima first. 1917, a small village in Portugal called Fatima. 3 shepherd children, Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta, went out every month to tend their sheep. On May 13th, a light appeared, and within that light, a woman stood, dressed in white so bright it hurt to look at. The children knew, without being told, that it was Our Lady. She said, "I will come back on the 13th of each month," and she did, 6 times. Our Lady gave the children 3 secrets. The first was a vision of hell. The second was a promise. If the Pope, together with the bishops of the world, would consecrate Russia to my Immaculate Heart, Russia would convert, and peace would come to the world. And the third secret, Sister Lucia wrote it down and sealed it in an envelope. Only the Pope could read it. Popes had read it, but none had made it public. The contents were too grave. I opened the envelope. It was Sister Lucia's handwriting. I read slowly. There was a vision. An angel appeared, holding a flaming sword. The sword was about to strike the earth, but a great light stopped it. The light of Our Lady. And then, a bishop dressed in white was climbing a steep mountain toward a great cross at the top. Along the path, There were bodies of martyrs. The bishop kept walking, praying, weeping, and just before he reached the summit, he was shot, and he fell. I set the letter down. My hands were trembling. A bishop dressed in white. I wear white. Shot and fallen. I was shot and I fell. May 13th, the day I was shot. The Feast of Fatima, the day Our Lady first appeared. I sat without speaking for a very long time, so this was it. But there was one difference. The bishop in the vision died. I lived. Why? Because Our Lady moved the bullet. I was certain of it. One hand fired the gun, but another hand guided the bullet, not to bring death, but to deliver a message. You are still alive for a reason. There is still work to be done. From that day, I understood why a boy from a small Polish town became Pope, why I was shot on May 13th, why the bullet missed my heart. Everything was connected. Losing my mother at 9, the quarry during the war, the candlelight in the hidden seminary. All of it was preparation. God wastes nothing, not suffering, not loss, not a single tear. He uses all of it. And I made a decision. I had to go to Fatima. I had to kneel in that field, and I had to bring the bullet and lay it at her feet. May 13, 1982, exactly 1 year after the shooting, I arrived in Fatima, the small village in Portugal, the very field where Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta had seen Our Lady. Covadairia. I stepped out of the car. The wind was gentle. The field was wide. The sky was high. I walked slowly. Thousands of people were watching. But in that moment, I could not see them. I only saw her. I reached the statue of Our Lady, and I knelt down. A pope knelt down. In my hand was something small, a bullet. The bullet that had passed through my body, removed by the surgeons, and given to me afterward. I had been carrying it, this small cold piece of metal that was meant to end my life. I held it out toward Our Lady. Mary, take this. This thing that was sent to destroy me, this thing that your hand turned aside, I give it back to you. That bullet was later placed into the crown of Our Lady's statue at Fatima. It became part of her crown. The bullet that was meant to kill me became a jewel in Mary's crown. I understood what that meant. The bullet meant to kill me was set into Our Lady's crown. I understood then. God can take even the worst evil and turn it into something beautiful. That is what God does. He takes the darkest things we offer Him and transforms them. That day in Fatima, I met Sister Lucia, the last surviving witness of the 1917 apparitions. She was 75 years old. She took my hands in hers, and she said quietly, "Holy Father, Our Lady protected you." I nodded. I could not speak. I knew. But there was still one thing left. The man who shot me, Mehmet Ali Agca, a young man from Turkey. He had been arrested, sentenced to life in prison, locked in a cell in Rome. People asked me, "Can you forgive him?" I told them, I already have. From the moment I opened my eyes, in the recovery room, it was done. People did not believe me, but I was telling the truth. Because if I did not forgive him, the bullet would hit me twice, once in the body, once in the soul. I did not want to be hit twice. December 27, 1983. I walked into Rebibbia prison in Rome. No pope had ever done this before. Visited the man who tried to kill him. My security team was worried. I went anyway. Agca was brought in. I looked at him. He was young. His eyes were uncertain. I stood up. I walked toward him. I held out my hand. He stopped. Then he took it. We sat down together. We talked for a long time, through an interpreter. What was said between us is not mine to share. That belongs to the two of us. But he said afterward, the Pope came to see me. I had tried to kill him, and he came. I cannot forget the look in his eyes. I did not bring a weapon into that room. I brought a rosary, and we wept, both of us, a Pope and an assassin, sitting side by side, weeping together. Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is what saves you. Holding on to hatred is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. That poison does not kill them. It kills you. I put it down. In that small visiting room, in the moment I took his hand, that was when I became truly free. The bullet became a crown. An enemy became a brother. Suffering became an offering. This is what God does. If only we give it to him, he takes it and transforms it. The one who turned a bullet into a crown will not be unaware of your tears. The one who turned a bullet into a crown will not be unaware of your tears. I believed that, and I believed one thing more. What Our Lady was doing was not only for me. There was a promise in the second secret of Fatima, Our Lady's words to Lucia. If the Pope, together with the bishops of the world, consecrates Russia to my Immaculate Heart, Russia will convert and peace will come. I had known those words for years, but I had kept waiting. The conditions aren't right, I told myself. The time isn't ready. And then I was shot, lying in a hospital bed. I realized, maybe this is why I survived. Maybe this is what I was kept alive to do. 1984. I brought the statue of Our Lady of Fatima to Rome. Hundreds of thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square. Bishops from around the world stood with me. As I knelt that day, I was trembling, not because of the ceremony, but because I knew this was the reason. This was why the bullet missed. This was why she did not take me from that square 3 years before. I prayed, Mary, I consecrate the world to your Immaculate Heart. I consecrate Russia to your Immaculate Heart. That was all. No weapons, no armies, just an old priest on his knees and a rosary. And then the world began to move. 5 years after the consecration, November 9th, 1989, the Berlin Wall fell. When I heard the news, I could not speak for a long time. That wall had stood for 28 years. It came down in a single night. What tanks could not do, prayer did. I wept that night. Whether from joy or gratitude, I am not certain. I simply wept. That was just the beginning. One by one, the communist governments fell. Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Romania, like dominoes, one by one. And in 1991, the Soviet Union itself dissolved. The nation that had tried for 70 years to erase God from the earth collapsed on its own. Without a single shot, I looked out the window and thought, the promise made in a small field in Portugal in 1917, it was fulfilled. Sister Lucia said the consecration had been accepted, that Our Lady had received it. Friends, I am not telling you history. I want to say something to you directly. The prayer you offer in secret, that rosary you pray when no one is watching, the offering you make when no one acknowledges it, it moves the world. I saw it happen. A single man on his knees brought down a wall. Your prayer does the same. Even when you cannot see it, even when it feels like no one is listening, he hears. The one who turned a bullet into a crown is not unaware of your prayer. I told you about the wall coming down, about history changing. But when all of that was over, I was still just a man, an aging man, a man whose body was beginning to fail. Parkinson's disease came. At first, only my hands shook a little. Then my voice began to tremble. Then walking became difficult. People watched. They said it was sad to see the Pope reduced to this. But I thought, the one who transformed a bullet can use these trembling hands too. There was one thing I never let go of. Through all of it, a rosary. Even when my hands were shaking, I held the rosary. Even when I had no voice, I prayed it in my heart. To hold a rosary is to hold Mary's hand, the hand that reached for me when I lost my mother at 9. I decided I would not let go of that hand until my last breath. April 2, 2005. I closed my eyes. They tell me that tens of thousands of people had gathered in St. Peter's Square that night, holding candles. I did not see them, but I felt it. Our Lady was there, the way she had always been there. Since that night in the church, when I was 9 years old, she was there at the end too. I have carried one question my entire life. Why did I survive the shooting? Why did that bullet miss my heart? Now I can give you the answer. I was kept alive to show the world what forgiveness looks like. to show that a bullet can become a crown, to show that an enemy can become a brother, and to bring this message to you right now, in this moment. Is there something in your life that came at you like a bullet, a pain you cannot understand, someone you have not been able to forgive, a grief you have never been able to give away? Give it to Our Lady. She will receive it, and she will transform it. The one who turned a bullet into a crown will not leave your offering untouched. Be not afraid. That is what Our Lady said at Fatima. I believed those words. When the bullet hit, when I was wheeled into surgery, when my hands could no longer stop trembling, I was not afraid, because she was there, and she is with you now, in this moment, wherever you are, whatever you are facing, she is there. Hold your rosary. That is how you hold her hand, and that hand will never let you go. Amen. Drop your prayer intention in the comments below. Your brothers and sisters watching this from around the world will pray with you. The rosary held in trembling hands was never ignored. Your bullet can become a crown. You are not alone. May Our Lady of Fatima intercede for you, and may the peace of Christ be with you. Amen.